Oh, to be the social outcast. Ah, such a hard time. But sometimes, you know, you get your moment in the sun. And while in the moment you might feel you're not getting your due, time will come. And people will come around to appreciate you. Why do I say all this? Because today we are looking at Bandai's very first ever vinyl figure of one of the most infamous monsters of all time. Yes, we got ourselves the Bandai movie monster series, Zilla, aka the 98 Godzilla. So let's crack in and see how the little engine that could stands up. Now, if you're of a certain age, you were there for the spectacle that was the 98 Roland Emmerich, Dean Devlin Godzilla movie. I say that with such hesitation. I was 14 years old when this came out. I remember the hype, and I've yet to see a movie as hyped as this. The campaign alone was absolutely bonkers and deserves a whole video in its own right. But the problem is that for us Godzilla fans, once we saw the final product, we're like, you know what? 'Tis a fine bond, Amish, but 'tis no pool. As The Simpsons would say, it was a fine monster movie, but it really wasn't a Godzilla movie. The biggest thing was the fact that, well, that wasn't Godzilla. It might have been an upright dinosauric monster with spikes on his back, but he lacked a lot of things that made Godzilla Godzilla. It was pretty much cashing in on Jurassic Park. This is what Hollywood was back in the day. Well, what's similar to it and what worked? Let's go that way. And let's not embrace the thing that made it the thing. Now, things have changed, and we now live in the era of the Monsterverse, which I think most of us are very thankful for. But, yeah, this guy, though. The problem is that there were some people that actually liked this movie. Now, as a kid, yeah, I was disappointed it wasn't a Godzilla movie, but I appreciate a good giant monster movie, and they are few and far between, especially something of a large budget. And last year at G-Fest, I actually sat down and rewatched it in a theater for the first time since that original screening, and my assessment, 20 some odd years past, actually 25 plus, is that, you know, while this is not a good Godzilla movie, this is a pretty solid giant monster movie. And there are a lot of things I found myself enjoying in it, especially the use of miniature effects in a lot of the destruction sequences. And to be fair, there are a lot of great shots in this film that actually hold up very well in comparison to a lot of CG today. And Toho pretty much said, you know what, we're going to start back up and we're going to make Godzilla movies again. And thus we got the Millennium series. Well, that went on for about another 6 years, and then Toho's realized, these aren't making that much money either, so Godzilla's 50th is coming up, we'll wrap it up, and we'll pretty much put him to bed for a while. And so that film was none other than Ryuhei Kitamura's Godzilla Final Wars, a giant homage to everything Toho, and a film I love dearly. I was actually at the Hollywood premiere back in 2004. Yes, I got in. I was there. I, as a 20-year-old, loved every second of it, and I still love this movie. I am a hardened Final Wars defender. It's one of my favorites. But before Marvel was dropping, you know, the surprise appearances of other characters in movies, Toho decided, hey, we can do something like that. And for the 50th anniversary, there is an infamous moment of Godzilla fighting the American Godzilla, now aptly renamed Zilla. And so this film has garnered a great review from people who have grown up on it, much like the Star Wars prequels, which I also defend. So for the 20th anniversary, I can't believe it's 20 years already, of Godzilla Final Wars, Bandai decided to finally give this little dude his time in the light with a Bandai movie monster series figure. And thanks to my good buddy Kazuki for picking one up from the Godzilla store, I now have it in my possession, and we're gonna dive into a little review of how Zilla, aka the 98 Godzilla, aka Gino, stacks up to the rest of the line. So if you've seen the movie, you know it doesn't have exactly the biggest budget. It definitely doesn't have a Hollywood budget, but in the fashion at the time, they decided to do Zilla as a CG model. And yeah, he doesn't look exactly one-to-one to the American counterpart, but still, for 1994 for Japan, he still doesn't look bad. Figure is absolutely no different. So he is a standard movie monster series figure. He stands about, actually crouched, he's actually shorter. He's about as big as the Odo Island Godzilla that I reviewed a couple months back. His paint job is very basic. It's a standard gray, as you can see, all the way through. He does have some shading in the... He does have some shading right here in the spines, in the dorsal spines. So there's a light blue hue to them. Not akin to the movie, but it's just a speckling, like a silverish blue that goes down to about midway through the back, and then the tail is all gray, one solid piece. Like, this is just one solid. Now, he does have coloring in the feet, so the nails are colored, so those are airbrushed right there, as you can see. So as you can see, the nails are completely done up. Now, the face actually has some fine detailing into it. His eye is completely painted in. His mouth, the tongue is painted in. And yeah, that's about it. So he's a very basic figure, but the problem is that he's kind of a basic monster. He does come with the Movie Monster Series tag. So take a look at that. So as you can see, it is the CG model from the fight in Sydney. So it's 2000. So this is Zilla, not Godzilla, because he's considered a separate monster in the continuity now. So there's the inside of the tag. And the back with the Final Wars emblem on there. So with the new line of Bandai Movie Monster Series figures, we've gotten pretty much just about everyone from Final Wars except for King Caesar, which still waiting on him. But actually Spiga too. We don't have Spiga or Kumonga, depending on your nomenclature that you prefer. But we're getting close. We're almost there. So yeah, I mean, he's a fun figure. I like him. Again, I kind of have a soft spot for the dude. At about $25–30, he's not bad. I mean, it's a Movie Monster Series vinyl, so you're not going to get the finest of details, but you get a Zilla. And I think he's earned the right to sit at the table at this point. And with that, we'll wrap this up. Remember, if you like what you see, we do have a show. It's called The Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. You can find us at thekaijukingdompodcast.com. And if you don't like to download, you can always stream our show on all of your favorite podcast streamers, including Apple, Spotify, or wherever else you might find better podcasts. We're also on social media. You can find us at X at The Kaiju Kingdom, Instagram at The Kaiju Kingdom, and Facebook.com/The Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. And that'll do it. Thanks for watching, guys. And we'll see you next time.